Baldur's Gate 3, the amazing turn-based role-playing video game based on Dungeons and Dragons, has had amazing success with over 800,000 purchases. And the goal of this video today is to talk about tabletop role-playing games, how they work, how to play them, and how to even run them as a dungeon master or game master. Now, the information I'll be talking about will be system agnostic, so it'll be applicable on any game system you want to play. But then later down the line, if you would like to subscribe for this video series, I will be talking specifically about Dungeons & Dragons and Cyberpunk Red. In fact, I will probably reference some Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty in these videos. So stay tuned if you're interested in any of that stuff. This has been Bergins, and we'll get right into it with a quote from the voice actress narrator Amelia Tyler, who played as the DM in Baldur's Gate 3. This clip is from an interview from the YouTube channel GaminMadness by the YouTuber Abhijha. I appreciate that there are a lot of actually other interviews with different voice actors and the cast of Baldur's Gate 3. So definitely check out the channel, and here's the clip.
And I was like, yes, I feel good about myself.
Yeah, well, that was the aim, right? I just really wanted people to feel that power.
Yeah.
Because I am there most of the time. I'm there to just tell the players what they're noticing or to just guide them, depending on the choices they've made. But just occasionally, we either manipulate you,
Yeah.
at which point it's a very conscious thing, and we don't hide that, or manipulating the feeling that they're getting. And
Yeah.
I think as a DM, it's really important most of the time to never tell a player how to feel emotionally. But if suddenly you get this swell of power, like that's such a cool thing to give people.
Yeah.
Just for a second, like, it's okay, like, you got this.
You got the authority. You have authority now.
Yeah.
You got this. Yeah. I just feel great.
And that's basically what it boils down to. It's feeling great playing with these games. So a tabletop role-playing game is you as a person playing the role of a character, whether you represent yourself, something about yourself, or a fantasy, something make-believe, something that could potentially be impossible to achieve, or as far as we know, for example, it is impossible for humans to just take flight without any kind of outside or external force. You can't just like will yourself against gravity. So maybe in a game like that, you roleplay the fantasy of being able to take flight or even teleport yourself or through a teleportation circle or whatever your fantasy may be. As long as everybody agrees together in a certain setting and you guys have fun together, you interact together with the people that you're around the table with, whether it's you with another dungeon master or game master or you and a group of people. Perhaps, there could be a game system where there doesn't need to be a dungeon master running the game. But you can just play together, roll dice, and see the results that happen based on the game. So whatever system you're using, ultimately, a tabletop role-playing game is friends or people that you enjoy the company of hanging out, heck, even strangers, hanging out, playing make-believe, and role-playing a character, and then just having fun and enjoying it. So that's what it boils down to, really. And then we can get into the nitty-gritty later.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
In this clip, the DM was simply describing to the players what they were seeing or experiencing. So basically being more narrative and guiding what's going on, which is basically the job of a DM or GM, essentially. If you ever want to run a game, a tabletop role-playing game, do not be nervous or afraid of, the rule set, or, the module, or the book is this much, this many pages, or there are that many characters. None of that matters, because those, the games, tabletop role-playing games revolve around, characters and modules and stat sheets and dice, but the whole goal is that interaction together and the enjoyment that you have out of it. And everybody just agreeing on a setting or agreeing that, I can imagine your character flying because that's something within the setting and it's logical for us from the mindset that we are currently in. It's like suspending all disbelief, leaving reality. It's almost like meditation, actually. You leave the world around you and then you go into this make-believe world that everybody can together go into. And then their minds are kind of in the same imaginary zone or environment. And as soon as you can do that as a game master, then you've done your job. You've brought together people in this imaginary setting, and now you can help guide them. Just like Amelia Tyler said, you guide the players and you describe to them what they see or the setting that they see around them. So again, as a game master, you are more of a guide and you allow the enjoyment of the players. You're basically supplying and supplementing the feeling of joy and having fun. And that's it. And here's the clip that they were talking about in that interview where the DM basically gives you that feeling of authority, of power.
Suddenly, you feel a hideous squirming in your head. The parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
To give you another example of a TTRPG that turned video game, look at Cyberpunk 2077. And even though it was made by the video game development studio CD Projekt Red, it was originally made by the founder of R. Talsorian Games back in 1988 by Mike Pondsmith. Since then, multiple versions of Cyberpunk, the TTRPG, were released, including Cyberpunk 2020, a remake of 2020, and then a new simplified version called Cyberpunk Red, which released at the end of July 2019. Now, the reason I bring up this clip in particular of this game is because I want to show you something here which could very well be described in a TTRPG. They try to show you a show of force. They want you to understand that you could easily get in trouble here if you don't obey what they ask you to do, don't obey the law. And at the same time, they want to convey that these characters, these NPCs, these guards, they are brutal, they are ruthless. And as a result, when you look over here to the left, you'll see what they're doing to another person. So that is kind of like you could describe as a GM or a DM what is going on around the players and their characters. And that way they would get the idea without you directly saying you feel afraid or making like enforcing that feeling. You could just convey that feeling through other means. To conclude, the idea of this video is to introduce to you the idea of becoming a game master or a dungeon master and playing or running a tabletop role-playing game, and they're very straightforward, simple to do. I believe that if anybody wants to run a tabletop role-playing game, it doesn't matter what setting you're running, it doesn't matter what the rules say, as long as you and the people around you are having fun and are in agreement within the same, let's say, make-believe space, and you guys are having fun, then you have achieved your goal. So if you ever want to run a TTRPG, go out there and do it. Do not be afraid. Do not let anything hold you back. And have fun, because that is all that matters.